Well, anti-Obama protesters have rallied in Germany ahead of the U.S. president's visit this week. Some 400 protesters rallied in the German capital, Berlin, to voice their anger at the U.S. president's drone policy. They also called on Obama to immediately close the notorious Guantanamo prison and release the prisoners held there.
I find it outrageous how the red carpet is being rolled out for this man. How many years has it been since he wanted to close Guantanamo? I don't even remember myself. Nobel Peace Prize? Don't you think that's ridiculous? It's a shame.
I'm demonstrating against the prison in Guantanamo because people are imprisoned there without being charged and without hope for defense or release. I find this very unjust, and I believe that these prisons should be closed and the people taken in front of a court or released into freedom.
Obama promised to shut down the prison during his presidential campaign, but failed to fulfill his promise so far. Also, use of drones in various countries has been intensified during the Obama administration. Well, we're going to now speak to Paul Wolf. He's a human rights and international lawyer, and he's joining us from studios in Washington. Mr. Wolf, many thanks for joining us here on Press TV. It would seem, listening from the comments of some of these protesters, that Obama's direction with regards to this so-called war on terror isn't really popular anywhere in the world. What do you make of it so far?
I don't think it is popular anywhere in the world, and I'm glad to see that people are continuing to keep this pressure on Obama. I mean, if Obama can't close Guantanamo Bay, then who can? I find that statement to be unbelievable because Obama is the commander-in-chief of the U.S. military, and for him to say that he is without power to close that prison, it just doesn't make sense to me. As far as the drones go, that is really an unprecedented presidential assassination program that's killed at least 2,400 people just in Pakistan already. And this goes well beyond what George Bush did. You know, we can look at George Bush, and he was also extremely unpopular, but we can at least give him the benefit that the country was in a state of emergency at the time and it wasn't acting rationally. Well, Obama, he's coming from the left, he's coming from a liberal perspective, and he is actually able to institutionalize these kind of emergency procedures and make the liberals feel good about it because they believe that it's necessary if the liberal politician is the one who's advocating it rather than the hardline right-wing politicians in the United States. So in many ways, I think Obama has been much more damaging to the rule of law in the United States and really to the world order because this really is very bad for world peace. You led in with the story about what's happening in Turkey. Your headlines also included a mention of Syria. Now, these are very serious problems where thousands and thousands of people are being killed. And the United States policy is not rational, and I believe that Obama is simply following the lead of the hawks in the U.S. military who believe that these are the solutions to all of our problems. In addition to these two issues that the protesters have identified, which everyone knows about, Guantanamo Bay and the drones, I think Obama is going to face another level of criticism in Germany. Once he looks beyond the crowd that's confronting him, he's going to have to face the German government. And the German government is extremely concerned about the revelations of National Security Agency spying that were revealed by Edward Snowden last week from Hong Kong. The Germans are not on board with this program. You may find Americans who say, well, we have to trade some of our freedoms in exchange for security. But what do the Germans get out of it if we're spying on their communications?
Well, that's a very interesting point you make, Mr. Wolf. I'd like to interrupt you there and pick up a bit further on this point that you make. Throughout the course of his presidency, we've seen Obama only justify these actions, the drone strikes, the spying, also Guantanamo. He's by and far gone out of his way to just justify it instead of say, hey, these are policy issues and we need to review them.
Yes, and it's always based on some kind of secret information, and the argument is always, well, you don't know what we know, so you don't know what kind of danger you're in, so you have to trust us to take care of you. And this argument is really worn out at this point because I believe that the ferocity of this war on terror that's been waged by Obama and Bush has actually made the problem significantly worse. I mean, if we had reacted rationally after 9/11, granted it was a horrible attack, 3,000 people were killed, the biggest building in the world was destroyed, it was extremely dramatic, and I don't want to minimize the suffering of people who are affected by that, but certainly the reaction to that has made the world a much more dangerous place, and it's made America a more dangerous place. So I think the main criticism I would have of Obama is that he's not showing leadership. He is simply going along with what the militarists and the hawks in the United States believe is the solution to every problem, which is to apply force and to use the military to solve these kind of problems.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. Paul Wolf, human rights and international lawyer there, joining us from Washington. Mr. Wolf, thank you very much for your comments here on Press TV.